Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up reports within Trimble Quest. Now, within Quest there are three elements that goes into reporting. Firstly, we have quantities, but that we will cover in the next video. So for these examples, we'll just use the total bid quantity. Then we have columns, which is what we use to create specific reporting views. And lastly, we have attributes, which are what we use to group bid items or resources together to create summary report groupings. Okay, so let's start with columns. Now within Trimble Quest, in any module, so whether you're on the bid module or in the resources or clusters or wherever, you're able to switch columns on and off. So the columns are what is displayed within table. And if you open up the action tab on the right hand side, you have a columns tab. And here you can select the columns that you want to display or not. So let's say, for example, in this report, we don't want to see our cost to company. We only want to see our selling rate and our selling amount. So what we're going to be able to sell the bid for. So in order to set up that reporting view, I simply open the columns tab and I switch off my net rate. And then I can go to measurement columns and I can switch off my net amount. So now, as you can see, we only have our selling rate and our selling amount here. Now we also have a column here for our time that it takes to complete each of these activities. So if I want to switch that off as well, I can go to columns, measurement columns, and switch my time off. So we can really switch on and off any columns that we want to craft a specific reporting view. And once we've done that, we can save that as a report to reuse at a later date. So to do that, we simply click on the Reports tab, and then we can say Save As. And I can just give it a name. We can call it, for example, Client Bill. Now, once I've set up these preset reports, I can easily switch between them. So let's say I want to switch on a bid breakdown report. I can switch that on here, and that will switch on that previously saved reporting view that I've set up using my columns tab. Then if I want to go back to my client bill, I can switch that on and back to my bid estimate as well. Right, now, as mentioned, we can do this within any module within Quest. Now, the second element is that we have attributes. So the reports that we set up now is within the bid module. But if we wanted to group specific bid items together and see a summary report showing all of those costs grouped together, so not on the bid item level, but on a higher group level, we can use bid attributes. Now here there are two elements, namely attribute classes and then attributes. So here I've got, for example, an attribute class for trades, but I could have multiple attribute classes for whichever grouping that I wanted to create. So this could be a work breakdown structure, or it could be phases of a project or risk groupings, however I wanted to group these bid items together. Then once I'm inside of an attribute class, so I'll just use trades here, I can create as many attributes as I like. So I already have subbase and drains here, but let's say I wanted to create another one. You can simply click on plus attribute and we can give this a code. And I'm just going to make this EX, for example. And then if I wanted to assign this attribute to any specific bid item, I can simply select the bid items that I want. So let's say we take these first 4 items and we can select them and then go to the little menu at the top here and say apply bid attribute. Then I can select the bid attribute that I want, so this example here, and that has then been assigned to those items. So in this way, I can group items together in order to report on them. So let's just have a look at a quick example. If I now click on attribute reports for this trade attribute class, that will bring up a module for me where I can see the summary costs of those different attributes. Now again, here I can craft specific report views by switching columns on and off within this view and then saving them as a report. Now we can do the same thing on the input side. So if we wanted to go over to resources, we can see that at the lowest level, we've got our resources here. And again, we can switch columns on and off to craft a specific report view, or we can create resource attributes. So here we might have resource types, or we could have a class for, say, cost types or general ledger, whatever group we wanted to create to report on. And then the same thing, we can click on attribute reports. And here we would then have a summary report showing us all of our material costs, all of our labor costs, etc. Now, if I wanted to export any of these reports, I can very easily do so. So let's go back to bid and select that client bill. To export this report view is very simple. The way that it works in Quest is what has been switched on the screen. So the view that you've created with columns is what will export to file. So to export this, we can just click on the print button in the top right corner, and we can then customize how we want our report to look. So under header, we could, for example, add our own logos or change the title. We can set layout and our content as well in terms of do we want to include summaries, etc. Lastly, we can select the file type that we want the report to download as. So for this example, I'm just going to use PDF, but we can also export it as an Excel spreadsheet, CSV file, or data as Excel. But if I want to export this as a PDF, we simply click on download, and that will then download my report for me. And we can save that. And when I open that up, you'll see that this is what the report looks like. It displays the same reporting view that we set up within Quest. Right, so that's how we will set up reports within Trimble Quest. In the next video, I'll show you how we can use different measurement quantities to do things like progress tracking or forecasting.